Right, here we go. We'll wait here for a second to see this thing happen. Should have switched those sound fonts over. There we go. It's a happy game. Alright, she was hiding behind the tree. We now know where Hobbs Barrow is, so we're gonna go and have a look. I'll just drop it there. So it's north from the thingy where she said, can't go across those fields. Not this way. Are you going to get to go up the bell tower or not? So up here, I think. Oh yeah, just up here. Anything else in the hole? Just these worms?
I've already taken one. As I trudged through the barren moors, with only the odd sheep for company, I reflected upon my visit to Bewley thus far. The enigmatic Mr. Shoulder and his puzzling disappearance. The townsfolk of Bewley, who had made it as difficult as they could for me to find Hobbs Barrow. The suspicion, the wariness in their eyes. Only now I know it was actually fear. In the end, it was the innocence of a child, young Jane, that condemned me to my fate.
Alright, so she's talking to us from the afterlife, I guess, or wherever we are.
The gate opens out into a vast tilled field. Ploughed fields stretch far and wide, an unusual sight for this area. I've no desire to wander the furrows.
What about my desire to wander the furrows?
The entrance to the farmhouse.
Can't look in windows. Can't look round.
The empty bucket smells of rancid milk. This is not mine to take.
Oh, good.
What a wild-looking thing.
It's the goat puzzle from, Broken Sword.
What do you want?
My name is Thomasina Bateman. Mr. Bryden, I presume.
Aye? What do you want, lass?
I understand Hobbs Barrow is located on your land.
Oh, well, yes. Why do you ask?
I am an antiquarian, Mr. Bryden. I'm writing a volume on the Barrows of England.
Oh, I suppose you'll be wanting to dig about it.
If at all possible, Mr. Bryden. I was invited to Bewley by Mr. Leonard Shoulder, who told me such an excavation would be possible.
Leonard Shoulder? Ha! I haven't seen him in years. The last I heard he were on death's door. There's to be no more digging there, lass. Not since it went so badly last time.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Bryden.
But just
I
ignore
live here
that
with my
for
wife.
now.
And I might be long in tooth, but I can still run this farm without too much help.
Was there a previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow?
Aye. My brother dug it up.
Oh, this is a remake.
25 years ago. You see, whatever he found inside, well, it drove him mad.
Oh?
Aye. I moved back here to look after him. Poor bastard hanged himself not long after.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bryden. That's terrible.
Aye. Time passes, but it were an awful thing.
What did your brother find?
Samuel. Samuel were his name.
Sorry, what did Samuel find in the barrow?
I don't know. But something went wrong. Afterward, he could barely speak. You couldn't make out a word, like.
That must have been hard.
He lost a hand in that excavation too, you know.
Goodness me, how?
I try hard not to speculate on what might have happened, lass. I'd see him disappear into that barrow, dragging timber in with him. You'd hear him hammering away for hours. I offered him help, but he'd have none of it. Soon enough, he'd block the entrance off. To look at it now, you'd never know the thing we dug up. The landers reclaimed it.
Who else was involved in the excavation?
2 others, I believe. Outsiders, perhaps. I can't say for sure. I think they left town pretty swiftly afterwards. I lived in Bakewell at the time. I only moved back here to look after Samuel. I took over the farm when he passed away.
I see. What can you tell me about your farm?
Samuel's fair aside, we're a fortunate family. The soil is fertile here. Crops grow without too much trouble. All the other farmers round here raise livestock, even Lord Panswick. We grow feed for him.
Most fortunate, Mr. Bryden. Is your wife home?
She's out in fields, lass, pulling weeds. The curse of such fertile soil. 40 years we've been married. I couldn't do it without her, you see.
How splendid.
Aye, my wife is a fine woman. Are you married, lass?
No. I've had my fair share of proposals, Mr. Bryden, but that's not the life for me.
Marriage is an important institution. You'll find a man one day.
I manage rather well without one, Mr. Bryden. You haven't seen Mr. Shoulder for some time?
I hear about him now and then, but it must be a good few years since I set eyes on him.
He hasn't been here to visit Hobbs Barrow?
Not to my knowledge. I heard he's beset by ailments. Don't leave his home often.
How odd. I assumed he'd spoken to you about my visit.
Not at all.
What can you tell me of Lord Panswick?
He keeps us going. Most of our crops go to feed his animals.
What is he like?
Oh, I've hardly laid eyes on him. He sends his workers here to pick up the crops.
I see. You say Mr. Shoulder is at death's door. What exactly ails him?
I'm unsure. It's just what I've heard. I wouldn't want to speculate on matters that are not my business.
Mr. Bryden, may I please have your permission to excavate Hobbs Barrow?
No. Have you not been listening, lass? Samuel found something in there that's best left to rot. No digging here, lass.
Wouldn't you like to find out more about what Samuel found?
No, he
in
definitely
there?
doesn't want to know more.
Perhaps.
Really?
But Samuel boarded up that barrow for a reason. You don't want to tempt the same fate, lass.
Perhaps I can at least see Hobbs Barrow.
I suppose you've come a long way to be here, lass.
All the way from London, Mr. Bryden.
Have you any proof of all you've told me?
You wish to see proof of what, Mr. Bryden?
I can't let any Tom, Dick or Harry wander around me fields. What proof have you of your claims?
Thanks for your time.
Ta-ra now.
He's doing well to be maintaining all this land at his advanced stage. Hello?
Yes?
Thanks.
Ta-ra.
Alright, let's mess with his goat and get murdered.
Easy, girl. I'm not fond of goats at the best of times, but this one seems particularly disagreeable.
Seems right to me. Worm? Do you want a worm?
I should
Okay.
leave the goat alone. That's a peculiar idea.
I forget what we're going to do with the worm. This light's still on. The lantern's still on. We haven't used our chisel yet either.
This is not mine to take.
Okay, so we need proof. We need proof somehow. Just try
Hello?
Yes?
goat.
That's quite an intimidating goat you own.
The old girl does a better job of protecting this farm than any hound would. She still produces a lot of milk for us, so we forgive her temper.
You wish to see proof of what, Mr. Bryden?
I can't let any Tom, Dick or Harry wander around me fields. What proof have you of your claims?
I have
Thanks
none.
for your time.
I have no proof.
Ta-ra now.
We've got these letters you can read.
Here is proof that Mr. Shoulder invited me to Bewley in order to excavate Hobbs Barrow.
Leonard making bold promises, I see. Don't make me regret this, but yes, you can have a look at it.
Thank you.
Any road. Once you've set your eyes on it, you won't be wanting out to do with it. The place gives one a queer feeling.
So where can I find it?
Through that gate to your left. Just head straight across the top to the field there. After 10 minutes or so, you'll see Barrow, set on a hill ahead.
Thank you again, Mr. Bryden. I really do appreciate it.
Let's save the game. Oh, it's raining as well. Fantastic.
I probably should have brought my umbrella.
Probably should have.
Perhaps I could take a closer look. AR. I haven't a clue what that could be referring to.
Everything's got this weird, like, moving quality to it. Oh,
Hobbs Barrow.
finally here it is. That's what she said.
Indeed, a barrow of a most unusual rectangular form. I've not seen something like this since West Kennet Long Barrow. Yes, this shall make a fine entry for my book. What secrets do you conceal, I wonder? That smell. Earthy and sweet.
Three, 2, 1. You can open your eyes now, Thomasina. Come. Are you ready for your first excavation?
Yes, Daddy.
Capital. Make sure you remember everything I've taught you. I have a feeling you might find something special.
How exciting.
I'll be watching from the steps, my little bird. Good luck.
Thank you, Daddy.
Where is it?
Daddy has buried something here.
Thomasina, we don't excavate with our bare hands.
I did wonder.
Daddy told me I should always carry a trowel on my excavations. Now I'm ready. Hello. No treasures here. Nothing here.
Excavations are stupid. It's gonna be a dead rabbit.
Treasure! Daddy, I found the treasure!
Ugh, pottery.
Look!
Well done, little bird. Your first successful excavation. That urn you're holding is very old and precious. Take good care of it, all right?
I will, Daddy. I promise.
Smash.
I do have a feeling there is something exceptional to be discovered here. I must gain Mr. Bryden's permission to excavate.
Maybe a little sneaky excavation first? Hmm? Hmm?
In good time.
Ah.
That's a peculiar idea.
The worm could get a
I
start.
can't see how.
Okay, we've seen the barrow now. Chisel this.
I don't wish to carve anything into the rock.
I wonder if it's time to head back in the evening. Let's see. We don't have any money. We've opened a tab and we don't have any money. We're only paid up for 2 nights as well.
Darkness falls quickly here. I should make my way back to the inn. I may be a barrow digger.
Sorry. Ooh, foggy. Light on.
No one here. Mr. Crozier is enjoying a large mug of ale. Good evening, Mr. Crozier.
Evening. Thanks again for the fossil, lass. 'Tis truly a beauty.
You're most welcome. How long have you been collecting fossils?
Ever since I were a boy. The moors look a barren place, but there are plenty of fossils to be found in the rock formations. All manner of creatures to uncover.
Such a playground for a young lad. What's your favourite piece in your collection?
The ammonite you gave me today. The most recent is always the best.
Indeed.
What about you, lass? Do you collect out?
I do. You see, I'm writing a book on the Barrows of England. It shall be called Vestiges of the Antiquities in Rural England. I document all my findings.
But what do you collect?
Pottery, tools and such.
Bones too, no doubt.
No, I leave those in place.
You've got a morbid heart, lass. Fussing about in old graves like that.
We're not dissimilar in that we both take an interest in the remains of the long gone.
I suppose you have a point there. How's your book coming along then?
Very well, thank you. Though I'm rather keen to begin my chapter on Hobbs Barrow. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
This local chap looks thoroughly intoxicated. Good evening, gentlemen.
What are you gonna do about him?
If he thinks he can take her away from here, he's got another thing coming. I am gonna knock his bloody block off. In fact, I can think of a better punishment. Oi, what do you want, lady? Piss off.
You heard the man.
Charming. He's engaged in a bout of pinfinger. Such a brutal hobby. Good evening, sir. I'll leave you to it. It's Herbert, the local stray. I don't wish to wake him up. The crackling fireplace is more welcoming than the facial expressions of the locals. A lovely place to warm oneself. Cyril seems gruff and unwelcoming, but I sense he may be a kind man under this facade. I'm glad I found Mr. Tillett. I must say, last night has rather put me off using these toilets. Hello again, Cyril.
You're still here?
Did Mr. Long convince you of the virtues of Bewley Station?
What the hell do you think? Now bugger off and leave me to me drink.
He seems even more wound up than usual.
Good evening, Miss Bateman.
Good evening, Stanley. I found Hobbs Barrow.
Oh, remember what I said, Miss Bateman? There are stories connected to that place.
Yes, stories you won't elaborate on, I might add. Don't worry about me, Stanley. I'm quite capable of warding off imagined fiends.
I have no doubt, but please leave that place be.
I've come this far, there's no turning back now.
That's precisely what worries me.
A mug of your finest ale, please.
There we are. That's 2 pence on your account.
Thank you. Goodbye.
See you soon.
Just down that quickly. Right, I guess we'll go to bed then. Is there anything else you can do here? Cat? Is there anything I can give the cat?
I don't wish to wake him up. I'm not sure they would be interested. I don't wish to get... This painting shows a Rubenesque figure brushing her hair.
I haven't looked at all the
Quite
paintings.
unusual to see such a sensual work in a room like this. A colourful work depicting a bashful knight. It is signed N. Hamley. I don't want to take the painting with me. A pixie-faced peasant boy, painted in a naive style. The painting depicts a rocky-edged lake. A small bronze plate states the name Lake Cubilius.
You heard about this? Cubilius
A
was a good
biblical
name.
scene of some kind. An angel is depicted looking longingly to the heavens. The prices are cheap here. It's a crudely painted scene that appears to be of a biblical nature.
That's the first thing we looked at when we came in here, I think. Right, let's go to
Time
bed.
for bed. Tomorrow I shall convince Mr. Bryden to allow me to begin my excavation.
Miss Bateman. How are you?
Tired.
Gonna buy you a drink?
Shouldn't you stop drinking so much? Yes, let's try and help him with his health.
Shouldn't you stop drinking so much?
You're beginning to sound like my dear wife. Please, Miss Bateman. I feel bad about what happened last night. I'm sorry I can't remember it.
That's all right, Mr. Tillett. Alcohol can do all sorts of damage to one's memory.
I was thinking that maybe if we had another drink tonight, I might remember what happened.
I'm not sure that's logical.
But worth trying?
Oh, Mr. Tillett, if you insist.
Very good. Take your seat, Miss Bateman. I shall return with the goods.
He's roofied this drink, hasn't he?
To Leonard Shoulder.
Wherever he may be. I've been meaning to ask you something.
Yes?
Why did Leonard Shoulder ask you to dig up Hobbs Barrow?
Despite his disappearing act the previous evening, not to mention his questionable sobriety, I decided Mr. Tillett was to be my ally. I spoke again of Mr. Shoulder's letter, his proposed excavation, and my status as an antiquarian and barrow digger. He was fascinated and quite excited at the prospect of meeting the soon-to-be author of a real-life book.
You must find all manner of riches on your digs.
Barrow digging is not all success, Mr. Tillett. Often I'll come across the likeliest of sites steeped in promise. We set to work with shovel and pick and all the other barrow opening paraphernalia you can imagine. Every stone carefully taken down, every shovel full of earth put dutifully through the sieve, and we find nothing. Or you may find a miserable remnant of animal bone or a shard of pottery hardly to be recognized from the peat in which it decayed. Sometimes it's as if some Neolithic humorist prepared an elaborate practical joke for your special benefit.
It still sounds much more exciting than spending your days sitting in England's most remote railway station.
Are you all right, Mr. Tillett?
I've had another argument with Agnes.
Your wife?
Aye. She didn't want me coming to the plough tonight. Truth is, I've been drinking my life away since my mother passed.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry for your loss.
You're kind, Miss Bateman. Thank you. It's been a year since the old girl left us. She had a horrible end, wasting away, day by day. Consumption got her. She was naught but bones by the end. I can't get the image out of my mind. She were everything to me.
I'm so sorry.
I apologise for going on, Miss Bateman. It's not appropriate.
Don't worry, Mr. Tillett. I appreciate your openness.
Used to love going for walks out in the moor, my mother and I. Ever since I were a little one, she'd get a tear in her eye as she looked out upon it. She loved this land. I asked Mr. Crozier to build a bench, which we've erected at a favourite lookout spot on the moors. Margaret's Lookout, we called it. Aye.
That's a beautiful tribute.
Aye. If you take a seat there, do keep her in your thoughts, won't you?
Of course, Mr. Tillett. I can relate in some manner. My father had an accident when I was very young. He's still alive, but he can neither move nor speak. He spends his entire life bedbound and incapable of communicating or looking after himself in any way.
How dreadful.
He was a barrow digger himself, an antiquarian of some renown. He taught me so much, even though I was so young. I think writing this book is my way of carrying on his work. It helps me reclaim those earlier memories of him, and I visit him often to tell him all about my excavations.
Can he hear you?
I've no idea. The doctors aren't sure. I'd do anything to make him better, Mr. Tillett. I'd do anything to bring him back to the man he was. I am in a state of suspended mourning for a man caught between life and death.
Dreadful. Just dreadful.
We all have our weaknesses. Mine just happens to be my father.
And what of your mother?
A cold woman. We haven't talked in quite some time. I think she blamed me for my father's accident somehow.
You were but a child.
Indeed. She thus saw it fit that a governess should raise me as she spent her life grieving for my father.
Well then, I propose a toast.
A toast to what?
A shared sense of loss.
I'll toast to that, Arthur. Now then, enough of this wallowing.
Let us be merry. Another round.
I really shouldn't. But I did. And another after that. And another.
Who could have foreseen this?
The frustrations of my visit to Bewley slipped away with each swill of Stanley's finest ale. We had great fun that night, Mr. Tillett and I. I treasure the memory.
Go on then. Let's hear those pipes.
Mustn't.
Sing the song.
You're incorrigible.
Please. You'll make a sad man happy.
Oh, all right then. Clasps, celts, and arrowheads I'll try to claw within my clutch. And if a shield I should espy, I'll vow there ne'er was such.
With popish tricks and relics rare, the priests their flocks do gull. In casting out the earth take care. Huzzah! I've found a skull!
Ha, it's not letting me save. Multi-game.
Hello, Thomasina.
What is
Not
this?
the voice I was expecting.
Who are you?
I'm the one that saved your father.
What do you mean?
You were here 25 years ago.
My father?
You were deep down with the others. You were there, and something went wrong. I dragged him out.
Impossible.
I helped him then, and I can help him again.
I don't understand.
Believe my words. You'll find proof in morning. Now go. One more thing. This is not a dream.
Expiscore. Oh, pretty freaky dream. Oh, a thing.
Goodness, that was a terrible sleep.
A letter. One bit of her hair is really annoying me. Oh,
What's
but
this? There's a strange stone strapped to the cover.
oh, good. Reading. Day 1. Arrived after a decent day's ride from Bakewell. This is a curious place. Locals seem distant. I'm off to meet my local contact tomorrow, so it will be an early night for me. I shall try to keep a diary of my stay here and not give up by day 3 of the excavation as usual. Despite the thrill of possible new discoveries, I cannot stop thinking about my dear wife and wonder if I should have left her in her current state. I must have faith that she will conquer this bout of illness. Day 4. True to form, my journal has been abandoned. Let that not speak for the excitement I feel for this excavation. After much preparation, we dig tomorrow. Such an exceptional site with a unique history. As for the dangers, we shall meet them head first. We are prepared. I also sought out a local wise woman yesterday, and she provided me with a tincture for my beloved nausea gravidarum. I am sure she shall be pleased with it upon my return. Lo, a place of miracles. A planted seed sprouted before our eyes and illuminated our path. Nature's laws hold no meaning here, but I clutch my tablet with the knowledge that it shall end this. Rho theta epsilon z. We found the code was simply in the singularity of the characters. All eyes must face towards the 7th archontic. All eyes must face towards the 7th archontic. When the sun and the 2 moons meet, the guardian shall be defeated. Okay. The dead language reveals the path, for thou art the moon, the chief of the stars. Listen to the things that I have said, follow the words of my mouth, reveal thyself to me. I heard a whisper, not once, again and again. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. I will pour out my spirit. This one's in red, which I assume is blood.
It appears to be a journal, full of hogwash.
I think it's
I
probably your
recognise the
dad's.
handwriting.
Oh, okay, maybe not then.
Maybe Stanley knows more about it.
Look at that stone. IAW or M. No, that's Mike.
That candle didn't last long.
Again. Right, nothing else to try in here.
I don't wish to carry the bowl around with me.
Good morning. How's your head, Miss Bateman? That were quite the tune you treated us to last night.
To be honest, Stanley, I've felt better. I take it you slid this journal under my door?
I beg your pardon?
The journal, Stanley.
I certainly did no such thing. Nor could have anyone else. You're the only guest staying here.
What's the meaning of all this? Do you propose that it manifested itself out of thin air?
There's a twinkling thing over there on the table. I don't think it was him, was it?
I'm sorry. I just don't understand how else it could have got there. Are you sure there was no one else here overnight?
Without doubt.
How very, very peculiar.
So, what does it say inside?
I mean, we're trusting him. I guess we're trusting him. Why not?
Take a look.
Pretty messed up.
Well, I can't make head nor tail of it.
Neither can
He's
I.
probably a devil
Maybe
or
someone
something.
else in the village can help you with it.
What do you make of this stone?
That's a funny looking thing.
Funny.
It's got a
stone.
cockerel on it.
Yes, but have you seen anything like it?
Never.
Do you ever have strange dreams, Stanley?
Me? I sleep as sound as a baby.
I had one such dream last night. It was so vivid.
What were it about?
Specifically said. I mean, let's keep talking to him. We've got to trust someone, right?
I was at Hobbs Barrow,
Oh?
but everything was different. Great peaks soared in the distance. And there was a creature.
A creature, you say?
No, he's a
A
baddie.
short,
I could tell.
robed fellow, eyes as black as pitch. It told me that my father had been there in Hobbs Barrow many years ago, but something went wrong, and the creature helped him escape. It said that I would find proof in the morning.
Oh, the journal. You've had a premonition, lass.
Please, Stanley, I've no time for that nonsense. But I'll admit it's a strange coincidence.
Now, what did I tell you about Hobbs Barrow?
That I should leave it alone?
Aye.
Hogwash.
Your dream reminds me of a story from my childhood. An old folk tale about Hobbs Barrow.
What is this folk tale you mention?
Well, when I were a wee boy, there were talk of a goblin. They say he lived inside Hobbs Barrow, hence the name, Hobbs Barrow. Hob, coming from hobgoblin, of course. Unfortunately, I don't remember anything else about it.
I was told not to believe in such fairy tales, Stanley.
Don't close your mind to such things, lass. I'm sure Mr. Shoulder will tell you more.
Perhaps, if I ever meet him. Goodbye.
See you soon.
No, but
Good morning, Mr. Kemp.
Good day, Miss Tompkins.
I'm here for his lordship's paper.
Sorry, lass. Mr. Price hasn't dropped them off this morning. I heard he actually left the village yesterday.
Indeed, I can vouch for that.
Ma'am,
Good day.
Oh dear. His lordship won't be pleased.
My sincerest apologies, Miss Tompkins.
I'll come back in a few days. Ta-ra.
In a few
Goodbye.
days for a newspaper. Weird.
The knife is stuck deep in the table.
I can't pull it out.
Goodness me, I can't budge it.
Be careful, Miss Bateman. You'll cut yourself. I spent all morning trying to get that bloody thing out. I shall be having words with that scoundrel next time he shows his face.
Curses.
We have our very own Excalibur. It's all yours if you can pull it out, King Arthur.
Chisel it out.
I do not wish to damage Mr. Kemp's table any further than it already has been. No, that's not it. No, that's not it.
Trowel, get some leverage.
I do not wish to damage Mr. Kemp's...
Okay. Okie dokie. Cool folklore. Right, so we can't get the knife at the moment. Let's go.
I don't need...
No, okay. Let's go explore. So I've been playing this for like about 4 hours now. I looked at time to beat. Some people look like they've done it in 6. There's no way, surely.
Right. I need to convince Mr. Bryden to let me excavate Hobbs Barrow and find out where this journal came from. Curses! I forgot I had this worm in my pocket. Poor thing is dead now.
Oh.
Rest in peace, Kenneth.
Damn it! Could we have put him somewhere and saved Kenneth? Oh. R.I.P.
She is busy setting up her stall. Good day.
I'm still setting up my stall. Come back later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, Father Roche.
Good morning, Father Roach.
Ah, Miss Bateman. What a pleasure to see you again. Have you tracked down Mr. Shoulder yet?
Don't get me started.
I'll take that as a no.
Indeed. Do you recognize this journal?
What a tatty old thing. You ought to take better care of your possessions, Miss Bateman.
It's not mine.
Then whose is it?
That's precisely what I'm trying to find out.
I'm afraid I can't help you. I haven't seen it before.
What do you make of this stone?
I don't recognize the symbol from any Christian iconography. Did you make it yourself?
No, never mind. What brings you to the square today?
I'm meeting a couple of young congregation members to go over some scripture. You're welcome to join us.
Thank you, Father Roach, but I have quite a busy day ahead of me.
We will be at St. Edmund's, should you wish to join us later.
Thanks for your time.
Lord be with you.
Beating raw metal into a fine object is an admirable skill. A finely made horseshoe. The blacksmith must also be a farrier. The horseshoe is nailed firmly to the wall. A simple broom. I didn't come to Bewley to sweep their streets.
What kind of adventure game is this? I can't take anything.
The blacksmith looks closed. It's Mr. Crozier's forge. The bucket has seen.
Yeah.
This must belong to someone.
Yes, okay, right. Folklore. Tell me some folklore. Let's go see what's his face. Oh. Attention, Bewley Station is closed for the time being due to track damage between Bewley and Bakewell. We apologise for any inconvenience caused. Midland Railway. Take it. Take it. take it.
The tracks look quite untarnished. I don't think many trains come through here.
So, no trains. No escape. Clouds look good.
I don't think anyone is home.
What's over here?
Thomasina!
Good morning, Arthur.
You look a bit addled. Are you feeling all right?
I am not used to drinking as much as we did.
Aye, my head is pounding.
To tell you the truth, Arthur, I've had a somewhat puzzling morning.
Oh?
Someone slipped this journal under the door of my room.
Whose journal is it?
I have no idea. The text refers to some sort of excavation.
Stanley must be playing tricks on you.
He swore his innocence. I thought perhaps you might have done it?
No, it wasn't me. That's for certain. Somehow I have a clear memory of last night.
I wonder who left me this journal then.
Mind if I take a closer look?
Please, go ahead.
The writings of a madman.
I don't disagree. Did the sketches mean anything to you?
No, not at all. But they turn me stomach. You might want to show this to Mother Mildred.
Who is Mother Mildred?
Some think her a witch.
A witch?
Aye. She might be able to help you with the symbols.
Where can I find her?
She lives alone in a little cottage within Herne Wood here. You shouldn't have too much trouble finding her.
Thanks, Arthur.
You're welcome.
What do you make of this stone?
It's a good shape for skimming across water. What is it?
I'm not sure. It was strapped to the cover of the journal.
How mysterious.
I had a splendid time last night.
Aye. I even remember most of it this time. Thanks for listening to me going on. I really appreciate it.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you too, Arthur. I see the railway station is closed. What happened?
The line is down. Track damage between Bewley and Bakewell. No trains for a day or more.
Does that mean I'm stranded here?
For the time being, Thomasina.
Capital. Why do people think Mother Mildred is a witch? Just because a woman lives alone in the woods doesn't mean she flies about on a broomstick.
There's more to it than that. They say she lays with demons.
Who are they?
Oh, you know, local folk.
Hogwash.
Some also go to her for potions and spells.
Spells? Come now, Arthur.
Truth be told, she's a nice old lady. I sometimes see her foraging in the brambles around here.
Will she burn at the stake sometime soon?
You might think us backward in Bewley, Thomasina, but we're not that backward.
Sorry, Arthur. I only meant to tease. Goodbye.
Ta-ra!
Uh-oh.
Thomasina, dear, come say goodbye to your father. Come on now, don't make him wait.
I don't want to.
Aren't you going to miss me?
I hate you, Daddy.
Those are strong words for such a little lady.
I want to come with you.
We've been through this, little bird. You can't come with me this time, but we'll go to Seaborough next month. I promise. Oh, what a dig that shall be.
I hate you.
Well, I love you. See you soon, little bird.
Relatable.
I shan't be visiting the badgers again. I was lucky to escape intact.
Certainly were. I should have torn you to shreds. Oh, hang on. Wait. No, Mother Mildred.
I feel there's more information I could gain by speaking to Mildred.
I just want to leave.
It's the old woman I saw at Bewley Station.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
They look somewhat like juniper berries. The cottage is nestled cosily in the woods. Please, forgive my intrusion. Are you Mother Mildred?
Some call me that. I prefer Mildred Walker, given as that's my name.
Apologies. Thomasina Bateman. I think we met at Bewley Station.
I take it Panswick's men have cleared off. Good riddance. Those ruffians would cut their own noses off if he asked them to. I recognised you the moment I laid eyes on you at the station.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a striking family resemblance. You have your father's eyes, Miss Bateman.
You knew my father?
Such piercing blue eyes he had. What a handsome young man. William.
He was here, in Bewley.
Oh, yes. A long time ago, mind. 25 years by my reckoning. But I'll never forget those eyes.
Why was my father in Bewley?
You were helping Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow.
You must be jesting.
Do I look like I'm jesting?
How did you come to meet my father?
One might say I have a reputation in these parts. Folks from all around come to me for help with their ailments. Hernwood is abundant with flora that, if mixed correctly, will cure almost any ill. Your father must have caught wind of this, as one day he came to me, asking for a cure.
A cure for what?
Your mother were with child, and she was suffering the most terrible nausea.
Adam.
I made something to help her.
The journal. This was entered in the journal. It belongs to my father.
What journal?
Take a look at this. A passage recalls meeting a local wise woman to seek a tincture for his beloved's nausea gravidarum.
Aye, that's me. I made the tincture for him.
This is incredible.
You don't recognise your own father's handwriting?
It's been so many years since I've seen it. What do you make of this stone?
I-A-W. I haven't a clue. Perhaps it's an old folk trinket, or a talisman of some kind. The moors are steeped in folklore.
What can you tell me about the excavation?
Well, not much. I only met your father twice. The last time he asked me if I knew anything about binding magic.
Binding magic?
He said he needed it for the excavation.
Hogwash. My father is a man of logic and reason. Why would he be asking about such nonsense?
Perhaps you don't know him as well as you think you do. Anyway, I know nothing of magic and told him so. He seemed disappointed. I never saw him again, but I understand the excavation went ahead. Samuel Bryden hanged himself not long after. Reason enough for you to stay well clear of that place.
You never saw my father again after the excavation?
No, I always assumed he just went home.
Who excavated Hobbs Barrow alongside Samuel Bryden and my father?
From memory, it were just the two of them.
What do you think my father meant by binding magic?
I've no idea. He didn't explain more and I didn't wish to pry.
This just doesn't sound like my father at all.
You'll have to ask him yourself.
I'm afraid my father has been incapacitated since I was a child. He cannot speak nor move.
Terrible. Oh, I'm sorry.
You said that the flora here could cure almost any ill.
Almost, my dear. But your father's affliction sounds beyond my abilities.
The landlord of the Plough and Furrow told me about a folk tale associated with Hobbs Barrow. Something about a goblin. Are you familiar with it?
No doubt there is such a tale. Name any beastie you can think of and someone round here will have a story about it.
My thoughts precisely. Charles Bryden mentioned there was a third man involved in the excavation.
Is that so? Well, you best ask him about it. He knows more than I do.
Can you tell me anything about Leonard Shoulder?
I know of him, as is the nature of such a small town. I also know he invited you here.
Little escapes you, Miss Walker.
So they say. My path rarely crosses with his. Let's put it that way. But he's a nice enough fellow.
I see. Do you know Lord Panswick?
I know his labourers make a mess of these woods, the brutes. The man himself hasn't graced me with his presence.
You've never met him?
Not since he were a wee lad. A maid brought him to me with a sore stomach. It were all the rich food they were feeding him, nowt more.
Thank you for your help, Miss Walker. What are those berries you're picking?
An ancient breed, no good for eating. However, they do have some medicinal qualities.
I see. I shouldn't enter uninvited. I don't wish to give that away.
Miss Bateman,
Yes.
remember what I told you when we first met? You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
Why?
Something terrible happened to Samuel Bryden in that Barrow. Whatever they found down there, I'd wager it got to your father too. Tell me you won't disturb Hobbs Barrow.
I can't make that promise, Mildred.
Can't say I didn't warn you. There is something unnatural about that place.
We must seek to understand the world by rational means, Miss Walker. One cannot abandon reason.
Thomasina! Thomasina, come here this instant.
I'm playing with Josephine.
She can wait. This is very important.
I'll be back soon, Josephine. I'll be back. What is it, Mummy?
It's your father.
Daddy's home?
No, my dear. I must go to Bakewell with haste. Miss Bowes will look after you whilst I'm gone. Is that clear?
Where's Daddy?
He's had an accident.
What happened?
He's come off his horse.
Silly Daddy. Will he be all right?
Of course he will be fine. Your father is as strong as an ox, but I need to go collect him, all right?
Can't I come too?
No, dear. Miss Bowes will look after you.
But I want to come.
Go pick up your dolls, then come inside, all right?
Yes, Mummy. Josephine, it's time to go inside now. Hello. Where did Mummy go?
Resin has been oozing from the stump. It looks set now. The resin has set somewhat. It's firmly gripped to the stump. I've collected some waxy resin. I've collected this lump of waxy resin.
I helped him then,
That was a bit weird.
and I can help him again.
Couldn't really see what happened there. It looked like she was having a smoke. This doesn't look good. I never like seeing characters facing away.
He is staring intently into the woods. Arthur! You won't believe it. The journal belongs to my father. He was here in Bewley. Arthur? Hello?
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to remember something.
What is it?
I'm not sure. Something in the woods. It will come back to me. You say your father were in Bewley?
Yes! Mildred said that he helped Samuel Bryden excavate Hobbs Barrow 25 years ago.
Well, I'll be. Let's talk about it tonight at the plough.
I should say this one really, but I'm going to say this.
Arthur, I must tell you about the dream I had. I was at Hobbs Barrow and there was a creature. It told me it saved my father from something inside and that I would find proof of this in the morning. Sure enough, when I awoke, the journal was in my room. Mildred confirmed the journal belonged to my father. The creature told me it could help my father again. I mean, it was merely a dream. I don't know what to think anymore. Arthur? Arthur, are you listening? Fine then, we'll talk later. I hope you piece together your memories. He is staring intently into the woods. I'll leave him be for now.
Don't like it. Don't like it. Bad. Okay, let's go back to the church. Oh, this way. Uh-oh.
Hey, boy!
No, okay. Let's look at where he's come from then. He looked like he was trying to get us to have a look at something.
Hello? Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Did you see a young girl with blonde hair pass by here?
No, lass. There you are. Are you Thomasina Bateman?
This isn't a lie. So I guess I'll say yeah.
That's my name.
How marvellous. It's me, Leonard Shoulder.
Heavens! I'd given up on finding you.
Please take a seat, Miss Bateman. We have much to discuss.
You've proven to be quite the enigma, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm mortified. I offer you 1,000 apologies. You see, I've been bound to me bed these past few days with a terrible fever.
How dreadful. I take it you're feeling better now?
Aye. I were on me way to find you when I stopped here to catch me breath. I've not much go in me these days.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I were worried you'd have given up on me and left town.
I had no idea what had become of you, Mr. Shoulder. I spent a good amount of time pounding on your front door.
I'm embarrassed. I really am. I've been doing my best to sleep through the fever. I am so very sorry. Please accept my apology, Miss Bateman.
Fine, Mr. Shoulder. I've come all this way. Let us speak of the business at hand.
Don't think you're being honest with
I've just
me.
learned that my father was part of a previous excavation of
Shoulder?
Hobbs Barrow some 25 years ago. Why didn't you mention this in your letter?
What? Where did you hear that?
I have my means.
I swear, Miss Bateman, I had no idea.
I take it you will also deny delivering me my father's journal?
I'm confused. What journal?
My father's journal was slipped under my door at the Plough and Furrow. It wasn't you who did this?
I've been bound to me bed, lass. What an extraordinary coincidence. You are following in your father's footsteps.
It would seem so, Mr. Shoulder.
Yes, let's leave this until last, shall we?
Why did you invite me to excavate Hobbs Barrow?
I've always been curious about the colourful folklore surrounding the place. My father told me all sorts of stories about it when I were a wee fellow. Stories that some folk around here take a little too seriously, especially after those lads entered the Barrow a while back.
How did you know about me?
I saw your interview in the Bakewell Times. A young lady travelling about the land, digging up barrows. Perfect for the job.
But why do you wish to excavate the Barrow?
I want to see what those lads found in there. My curiosity has grown over the years, and now it is time for the mystery to be solved.
I must say I am rather eager to find out what's in there myself. I've managed to find Hobbs Barrow, but Mr. Bryden is yet to give me permission to excavate.
Is that so? Keep trying. You'll relent eventually.
Perhaps you could have a word with him.
Oh, no. A lovely young lass such as yourself has a better chance of changing his mind than a shaky old goat like me.
You told me in your letter there would be no issue gaining access to the Barrow.
I didn't foresee any when I wrote to you. I'm sorry this has been more complicated than anticipated. Don't give up yet, Miss Bateman. Keep trying with Mr. Bryden.
Did you know my father?
I don't believe so. What's his name?
William Bateman. He was in Bewley for at least a few days, from my understanding.
I'm sorry, lass. The name doesn't ring a bell.
Are you sure you had no idea of my father's involvement in the previous excavation?
I'm quite sure. A most fascinating coincidence, but nothing more than that.
I'm starting to wonder if it's more than mere coincidence, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman, I did not take you for a credulous individual.
I'm none of the sort. What can you tell me about the previous excavation of Hobbs Barrow?
Oh, it were 25 years ago, or thereabout. Back then, Bewley were undergoing a period of great strife. Samuel Bryden hadn't harvested a single crop for 2 seasons. Even Hernwood was sick. Berries went to rot almost as quickly as they grew. Folks started to believe the ground were blighted. Disease spread through the livestock too. People were going hungry, a panic set in.
That sounds terrible.
Aye, but I managed to keep myself fed. These things happen in nature, but the blame for it all fell on Hobbs Barrow. It was long said that a goblin made his home there. A rumour took root that the goblin were not best pleased with the villagers. In revenge for some unperceived slight, the goblin placed a curse on the soil itself. The villagers believed that ridding the Barrow of its lodger would put an end to it all.
Hogwash. My father would have paid no heed to such tales.
Whether it were his intent to join the excavation when coming here, I do not know. But whatever it were that Samuel Bryden and those lads did inside that barrow, people say it did the trick. The crops started to grow back, and health returned to the livestock. Bewley were no longer in the grip of dark forces. You must understand, folk here are a superstitious lot. They don't want you disturbing whatever it were those lads did. As far as the villagers are concerned, the problem were fixed. The thought of another excavation must be conjuring panic that you'll undo whatever it were they did.
This does explain a lot.
And it's also why I'd venture nobody around here wants you to touch the place.
Except for you.
I want to know what's there.
Surely you don't believe these tales of goblins and curses to be true?
Not at all. However, I suspect those lads did find something in the barrow. But did it have any connection to failing crops and dying livestock? No. I can assure you there's nothing to fear. Coincidence reigns supreme.
So what do you think they found?
That is for us to discover, Miss Bateman.
Who was the third man who joined my father and Mr. Bryden on the excavation?
I'm afraid I don't know. Although I'd heard about the excavation and I were intrigued by it, I mostly stayed at home during that time. The atmosphere in the village was rather too tense for me liking. And besides, the excavation were undertaken with an air of mystery about it.
Tell me more of this folklore you mention.
It is said that Hobbs Barrow is home to a goblin. Everyone in Bewley has some version or another of this story. But the version my father told me as a child described the Barrow as a thin place. The goblin were deemed to be the guardian of this so-called thin place.
Tell me more about this goblin.
Some said he were a mischievous little mite, snatching newborn lambs and smashing windows with pebbles. Others said he were friendly, there to lend a helping hand in times of strife. The latter of which makes it all the more surprising as to why the previous excavation took place. My father's stories put the goblin in the mischievous category. Saxnot, he called the creature. I recall one such anecdote, that Saxnot entered Bewley and ordered a pair of boots to be made by the cobbler. However, when collecting them, he insisted on paying for them with a bag of sow's teeth. The cobbler was so scared of angering the goblin that he accepted.
A colourful tale indeed, Mr. Shoulder. Has any explanation been offered for why this Saxnot cursed the soil?
Your guess is as good as mine, lass.
I thought it was supposed to be sow's teeth. Sow, it's a pig. I don't think it's sow's teeth.
What is a thin place?
A place where one can walk between worlds, where the flesh meets the spirit world. Just superstition, of course, as you will know.
I had a peculiar dream last night. I met a creature at Hobbs Barrow. I suppose you might say it was a goblin. It told me it had saved my father from trouble inside Hobbs Barrow. I'll admit the coincidence of this is somewhat astounding.
A remarkable coincidence, but nothing more than that.
But there is still one thing that puzzles me. The goblin told me proof of its claims would await me in the morning. Surely enough, I awoke to find that my father's journal had appeared in my room.
Very queer indeed.
Mr. Shoulder, you invited me here, to a town I'd never heard of, only for me to discover that my own father was here 25 years before. And not only that, but that he was also embroiled in some sort of superstitious hysteria which goes against everything he ever taught me. Something is wrong here. This must be more than mere coincidence.
It's strange, I'll give you that. But please remember who you are, Miss Bateman.
This is my father's journal.
Incredible. Can I look inside?
You may.
Look at these drawings. Wonder what it all means.
You and I both. It all feels very out of character for my father.
I'm sure you'll find the answers beneath the soil, Miss Bateman.
Alright, we're getting to the crux of this whole thing here.
What do you make of this strange stone?
A carving of a cockerel?
Yes, it was strapped to my father's journal. Do you think it could have something to do with the previous excavation?
Possibly, though I'm not aware of the motif having any meaning around these parts.
Is this your glove?
I've been looking all over for that. Where did you find it?
In the alley behind the plough and furrow on the night of my arrival. Were you there?
As I say, I've been bedbound for several days, Miss Bateman.
How odd.
Can I please have it back?
Here.
Thank you.
No, finders keepers, Mr. Shoulder.
We're peas of the same pod, Miss Bateman. I knew you wouldn't be frightened by a few old stories. It will be interesting to see what those lads found in there.
Certainly.
Thank you so very much for responding to my letter and for coming here. We have some great discoveries to make, you and I.
I sincerely hope so.
And a chance to follow in your father's footsteps. Right, time for me to shift these old bones. I'm to take me a spot of the plough and furrow. I'll be there all night should you need me assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sorry again for giving you the runaround. I promise I am not beyond redemption. I won't let you down again. See you soon.
You're quick for an old man.
I was starting to wonder if Mr. Shoulder even existed.
The mystery man revealed. Mr. Shoulder has shown himself. I'm going to try and sit in this seat.
Margaret's Lookout, dedicated to Arthur's mother.
There we go. A moment of reflection. Here's to Margaret Tillett. Oh, rest. Sometimes we all need to sit and watch the world go by. Achievements everywhere. So, I really like this in atmospheric games where you can just sit down and chill out, and if something happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. I do like the subtle clouds moving, and got those little oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, just stare out into the middle distance. I'm sure I'll remember it. Fade to black. End street. Right, yes. Like nice sort of simple atmospheric sort of music. Chilling out on the bench. Okay, so let's keep looking.
The day was starting to test me. The word coincidence felt insufficient to explain what was happening. It was after that first conversation with Leonard Shoulder that I started entertaining thoughts of a truly irrational nature. What if my dream wasn't just a dream?
Oh, you were told that it wasn't.
What if it was all more than simple coincidence? What if that thing really could help my father? Good day, little one. Hello? What's this? A fiddle bow? There's no string. My name is Thomasina. What's yours? Don't be shy. I don't mean you any harm.
Don't like the crackle.
What are you doing out here all alone on the moors?
The crackle.
Do you live here? would you like me to fix your bow so you can play your fiddle again? Yes?
Yes.
Hey!
Didn't look like a fiddle had any strings on it.
Most peculiar. Perhaps I can mend the bow for her. If memories of my childhood violin lessons serve me right, bowstring is made from animal hair coated in a waxy resin.
How
The strings don't vibrate
fortuitous.
without it.
I mean, she could pluck the strings. We have the resin. We don't have the
The bow is lacking string.
horse's hair, but we do have the resin.
I've collected this lump of waxy resin.
Let's keep going this way for a minute. Where would we get animal hair from? We go into his house now.
Mr. Shoulder told me he'd be at the Plough and Furrow.
Let's check in the church. We haven't been in the church for a while.
Those have seen better days.
So replace those. I don't have anything to replace those with. Blacksmith's back.
Good day.
Hey up.
Look at this, Mr. Crozier. It's my father's journal.
Oh, aye? Why are you showing me?
Did you slip it under my door last night?
Ha! Have you gone daft? Why would I have your father's journal?
Never mind. Did the sketches inside mean anything to you?
Looks like a load of rubbish to me.
I found out my father visited Bewley 25 years ago. William Bateman, perhaps you remember him?
I would have been just a lad. What were he here for?
That's what I intend to find out. What do you make of this stone?
Don't look like out to me.
Are you familiar with any local folklore?
Oh, aye. The old cobbler used to tell me some right stories. Swore he sold a pair of boots to a goblin when he were a young man.
A goblin, you say? I take it this cobbler was a regular at the Plough and Furrow?
Never drank a day in his life. Sober as a judge. Have you been to the Devil's Toe?
Yes, I'm familiar with the cairn.
Some say they've seen the goblin's daughter there, playing her fiddle.
Dun dun dun.
Peculiar. I met a girl near there earlier. She gave me this broken fiddle bow.
Ha! Well, you've experienced the local folklore firsthand then, lass.
Do you know any other stories about this goblin?
I don't have the time to be standing here gossiping about old wives' tales.
Apologies. I'm having some trouble extricating a knife from a table in the Plough and Furrow. Might I borrow a pair of pliers?
A knife, you say? I can get that out for you.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Crozier.
Think nothing of it. Wait here. That were a struggle. Here you are.
Thank you so much. Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
Never heard of it. What is it?
Never mind. Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
The blacksmith is toiling away.
We showed him
I've
stone.
already shown him that.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not sure they would be interested. I should be careful. The blade is sharp.
You're still setting up. I shall not trouble her. Let's have a little savey save. Oh,
Fresh and steamy.
some poop.
Delightful. I believe a horse to be the culprit.
Grab it.
I certainly don't wish to touch it.
Right. Is there anything to gather it in? No. Let's see if he has anything to say about the knife getting out. Oh.
You found old Leonard, I see.
Yes, finally. I've had some rather unbelievable news, Stanley.
Oh? Remarkable.
Quite the coincidence, is it not?
Remarkable. Just remarkable.
Do you recall my father from back then?
I'm afraid not. Those were my droving days, you see. I didn't spend much time in Bewley, but an interesting turn of events nonetheless.
What do you know of Mother Mildred?
I'll tell you what I know about Mother Mildred. She wants locking up.
How so?
She owes me a small fortune on her tab from years ago. Do remind her next time you see her, won't you?
I'd rather not get involved, if you don't mind.
Be careful who you trust, Miss Bateman.
Who is Miss Tompkins?
A housemaid in the employ of Panswick Manor. She comes by to pick up his lordship's weekly paper.
I'm surprised newspapers are available in Bewley.
Aye, his lordship gets what he wants.
Lord Panswick likes to keep up with affairs from outside of Bewley.
Aye, he has many interests around the country.
What sort of interests?
His lordship's affairs are his own business.
Does the name Saxnot mean anything to you?
No, I can't say it does.
Goodbye.
See you soon.
He appears to be lost in deep thought. Hello there.
Yes?
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Ted? Ted Cross?
Pleased to meet you.
Likewise.
Are you a local, Mr. Cross?
Oh no, I'm just passing through. I'm a musician. Just myself, me guitar and me horse.
Your horse that has horsehair. What we need. And you're a musician. You'll understand, right?
Are you a travelling musician?
Aye. I've been playing a new song tonight. I've just finished the lyrics.
What's it about?
You'll have to come listen.
What do you make of Bewley?
Can't say that I know much about this place. I don't usually travel this far south.
I see. Have you heard of a place called Hobbs Barrow?
Can't say I have, miss. What is it?
Never mind. Thank you for your time.
Make sure you watch my performance later, won't you?
I'll try. I don't need to use the filthy lavatories. The enigmatic Mr. Leonard Shoulder. He looks somewhat frail. Hello again, Mr. Shoulder.
Miss Bateman.
I've still not been able to gain permission to excavate from Mr. Bryden.
Is that so? Perhaps you could show him something that might change his mind.
What else can you tell me about this Saxnot?
Try not to worry yourself too much with these old stories. Leave those to the locals, Miss Bateman.
Have others spoken of goblins appearing in their dreams?
A dream is a dream, that is all. They merely make for good stories.
I know, I know.
But to answer your question, no, not to my knowledge.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Shoulder.
I'm sure the locals have filled you in already, lass.
You cut quite the mysterious figure. Most had little to say.
It's true, I do tend to keep my head down. When one gets to my age, one grows very comfortable in one's home. I like the isolation of the moors. I wouldn't change it for anything.
I take it you don't get many visitors.
Oh no, nobody bothers me. That's the perk of living so far out, huh? Just me and me hens. I used to come into Bewley more often, back before my health went to bugger, eh?
What do you think of Bewley?
Whilst one could consider the villages to be rather unenlightened, this place has its charm. The market's in town today. You can see that folk want fun out here.
This is a lot of options. There's not a lot to say really, just, you know, just plodding through the game, just chatting to people. Like, fun, it's good, I like it. But there's not much to say at the moment.
Is there anything else I should know about Hobbs Barrow, Mr. Shoulder?
No, lass. I'm certain we will know a lot more about it by this time tomorrow.
I hope so. What else can you tell me about the previous excavation?
I think I covered it earlier, Miss Bateman. As you yourself said, it were a time of superstitious hysteria.
What was it like, living in that period of hysteria?
I kept to myself. It didn't really affect me. My hens stayed healthy and their eggs kept me well fed. If one can keep a level head in such situations, one can get by.
Indeed. Is there anything else I should be aware of before my own excavation? No other ghouls I should be worried about?
Ah, you know the answer to that. The corruption in that soil were all in the minds of men.
What do you make of Lord Panswick?
His lordship is an important man in Bewley, as I'm sure you have gathered. His family has commanded much respect here for many generations.
Do you respect him as a leader?
I do. He wants the best for the village. Without his influence, the railway line would have never come through here.
Does he want more visitors?
Aye, I believe so. He has great ambitions for Bewley and wants to share them with the world.
What do you make of Mildred Walker?
Who?
I believe she's also known as Mother Mildred.
Oh, we used to get about when we were children. Our paths have not crossed in a long while.
What do you think of Charles Bryden?
He is a decent man. It must have been hard for him after that terrible business with his brother.
Without a doubt. I must say I had assumed you had at least spoken to him about my visit.
Sorry, lass, I had no intention of giving you the runaround. Again, I can only apologise.
What I will say is that none of these characters really seem to be evil or lying or anything really. They all seem like perfectly reasonable people.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the nature of your ongoing illness?
Oh, just the ravages of age. Getting off this bench will be a small battle in itself. Something you won't need to worry about for many a year, Miss Bateman.
Growing old is a blessing and a curse. And what of your recent fever?
An ordeal it were. So much tossing and turning. But I'm right as rain now, especially after a mug of ale. Don't worry about me.
What are Lord Panswick's plans for Bewley?
He's rebuilding an old chapel on his estate. He seeks to bring God back to these lands.
But what of St. Edmunds? I think Father Roach might argue God has never left.
Indeed. Let's leave such arguments to them, shall we?
Is he bringing Cthulhu back, or do these people worship Cthulhu?
Thank you for your time.
Aye, Miss Bateman. We will speak more later.
She is busy setting up her stall. Good day.
I'm still setting up my stall. Come back later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You've made no progress whatsoever, lady. Is he around?
Mr. Long mustn't be in. I don't need to go in there again.
Okay. We still don't have any money. I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue or the money is not important at this point. I'm getting the layout of this confused with a demo of another adventure game I played not too long ago. Let's have another save. I wanted to talk to the musician. I wanted to go round the back of the thing. That's where I wanted to go. I remember. I wanted to steal some hair from his horse with my sharp knife. I certainly don't want to cut the horse. That would be dreadful. Just some of its hair.
A fine specimen. She's well looked after.
A fine specimen indeed. Oh, Herbert's over here.
It's Herbert, the local stray. I don't wish to wake him up.
Poor Herbert.
I see no sign of life within. The post has been embellished with a fine bronze bust of a horse.
Right.
The horse has been provided with some drinking water.
Stop beating
That's
around
not
the...
mine to take.
Stop beating around the bush. I've got to use my knife.
Horsehair would make fine bowstring.
Yeah, don't stand behind the horse, lady.
She almost took my head off.
Yeah, of course she did, you muppet. So, do we have to give her something? Apple? Something like that?
This young fellow looks miserable. Hello, Wally.
Go away! You gave the doll back to my sister.
It wasn't very nice of you to bury her favourite toy, Wally.
I gave it to the fair folk, and you stole it back from them.
You don't really believe in fairies, do you? You're old enough to know better.
They're real, and thanks to you, I'm cursed.
There's no such thing as curses either, Wally.
Go away!
I think he's probably cursed. Let's give him a nice knife. I like that.
I'm not sure they would be interested. Nobody home.
Can I steal some apples off this apple tree? No.
The road disappears over the horizon. I see nothing but moorland.
Right, well, we might leave it there. It's coming up to 2 hours. Doesn't feel like 2 hours. Let's quickly talk to this chap about his horse.
Hello there.
Yes?
Is that your horse stationed in the alley?
Aye. Thistlecrack is her name.
Okay.
That's an unusual name for a horse.
Aye. It were what she were called when I bought her. Glutton would be a better name. She likes her treats. But it feels wrong to change it.
Thank you for your time.
What kind of treats is she
Make
like?
sure you watch my performance later, won't you?
I'll try.
All right, let's leave it there. Treats for horse. Maybe we need some of those cupcakes. Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed it. As before, really enjoying it. So there's not much to say. It's just going through it. It's cool. All right. Until next time. Well, and nothing really horrible has happened yet, which I'm sure it will soon. Looking forward to that. Anyway, till next time.